2022 ZR2 Silverado is an absolute beast, and this is proof that Chevy just got a whole lot more serious about the off-road truck market. .420 horsepower, 460 foot-pounds of torque, front and rear lockers, high-end suspension, skid plates, 33s from the factory. This is everything off-roaders who are Chevy fans have been asking for a while. And today I want to talk about how this truck was developed, who this truck is developed for, and what the ZR2 Silverado means for the industry as a whole. Let's talk about this new Silverado. I think that this thing is impressive on paper. I hope that one day I get the opportunity to drive one and check it out in person. But this thing, it's got good specs. It is a real off-road truck, I can tell you that. So it's a 2022 ZR2 Silverado. It's 420 horsepower, 460 foot-pounds of torque out of the 6.2 liter engine option. I can't confirm that there's another engine option. I asked and I haven't got an answer on that yet, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna offer this with a V6, twin turbo V6 as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that yet. It's got front and rear lockers. Thank you so much, Chevy, for listening to us off-roaders, because this is the one thing we've been asking for years on all of our stuff that we buy that says off-road. We want it to have front and rear lockers. It's such an important component when you actually use these tools. And so this, again, it's a real off-road truck. It has real off-road parts. 33s from the factory, that's killer. I mean, it's not huge, right? A guy like me who rock crawls, it'd be great if it was 37, but a 33 is a respectable tire size. And for people like me that can't leave well enough alone, and we have to modify every OEM thing that we get, I think it's probably gonna be pretty easy to squeeze a 35 on there if you really want to. Off-road skid plates. This has real off-road skid plates, and I cannot tell you how important that is and how frustrating it is to own a Toyota Tacoma that it says off-road on it. It's TRD off-road. It does not have real skid plates on it. And you just destroy so much of the stuff underneath if you don't have skid plates. So again, it's a real truck, a real off-road truck. I love what they're putting together here. It's developed in off-road racing, and this is how they designed their skid plate system. This is how they designed the engine tune, transmission, TK skids, the suspension. All of it was heavily influenced because they worked with a race team called Hall Racing. They were able to basically get all of this data from them racing this Silverado, and they're able to figure out what kinds of things they need and what kind of adjustments need to be made in order to make the ZR2 Silverado badge worthy, to be able to say this is a true ZR2 and this is something that we can stand behind as being a real off-road truck. It's got these Multimatic DSSV shocks that I think are super cool. So I looked into them because when I saw them, I was like, what is this big square shock thing? And I've been in the off-road world for a while, but you don't see shocks in this shape very often. And so once I did a little bit of research, I realized that they're very similar to like the triple bypass shocks that I have on my Jeep Wrangler that's parked right behind you. The triple bypass shocks that I have these tubes on the outside, and you can adjust to bypass around the valving of the shock, and this makes it to where you can tune them. So this can give you different shock rates essentially depending on where the shock is in its position, so where it is in its travel. And these DSSV shocks work the same way but without all the bypass tubes all over it. So these make it to where depending on where you are in the stroke of the shock, it will be valved a little bit differently, which is cool because it makes it to where you can get good on-road performance, good off-road performance. It's going to be valved differently if you do a jump or if you're doing whoops. So this is a really neat feature to have in a truck that's just from the factory, OEM with the warranty. Pretty impressive. Plus, it's already been tuned. When you buy those triple bypass shocks like I have, it takes a lot of time to tune this stuff. So this is neat that it's already ready to go. Apparently this week they're gonna do a facelift on their race truck to basically match what the look is of this new ZR2 Silverado. It's kind of a big deal. I think it's cool. I think it's a good looking truck. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like on a race truck application. And I mean, that's just about it, really. I just wanted to show you guys some of the specs on this new truck. I think it's exciting for the industry. Who's this truck for? If you're somebody who wants to buy a good, solid half-ton truck that is on a proven platform, the half-ton Silverados are just, it's a great way to start, honestly. So if you want something that you can take the wife and kids out, you can camp comfortably, if you're doing overlanding, you do a lot of dirt roads, and this is going to be perfect for that kind of terrain. It's going to be awesome. And if you're someone who wants to get into something a little bit more serious, I think that it's probably pretty easy to modify this truck too. Put 35s or maybe even 37s on it. I don't know. I don't have one. Haven't been able to drive one yet. But this is going to work well as a starting platform for a lot of people. And when you look at the other options that Chevy is offering right now with their half-ton trucks, like the ability to drive down the road and just take your hands off the wheel, it's pretty cool. They're doing some pretty cool stuff, and they're definitely putting their hat in the ring as being an extremely big competitor in this off-road truck space. I know a bunch of you are excited about this new Silverado, but you're wondering, hey Nate, when are we gonna get back to builds? Today, we're getting back to builds. I've got a brand new transmission in that box. We need to pull the engine, transmission, transfer case out of this TJ. So whenever this video comes out, all that stuff should be out of there. And the next video you see on this channel will be us building again. I miss builds. I know you guys miss builds too, but I have been waiting for 6+ months on parts for my Tacoma to show up. And my Gladiator, I still don't have all the parts to build it, and I still don't have all the parts I need to start on my J10. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start working on the TJ. We're gonna buy these other projects a little bit more time, and yeah. So builds are coming. The very next video is gonna be a build video. I have a feeling that all this stuff is gonna show up at once, and I'm gonna be buried in builds for months and months and months. So if you've been waiting for builds, they're coming. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Chevy in any way. They reached out to me and they said, hey, we've got this footage we'd love to share with you if you want to talk about the truck. And I get asked about all these new vehicles that come out from people all the time who are in the market, so I wanted to make a video on it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the little montage I put together at the beginning of this. It's fun to edit some photography from real photographers instead of stuff that I just take while I'm off-road. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you on the next one, and on the next one, we're gonna be installing the magic that is in this box.